Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. We're excited to have Inovia Senior Application Consultant Guillermo here today, and he will be presenting on understanding the fixed assets function and processes workflow in Business Central. I know you're all eager to get started with this presentation, so before we begin, as a reminder, we're recording this webinar and we'll be posting it to our on-demand webinar library for you to review or share with anyone. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to type them into the questions box and we will answer them at the end of our session during our Q&A. Now I'm going to hand it over to Guillermo to kick off his presentation. Take it away.
Thank you, Joe. So my name is Guillermo Rojas. I'm Senior Application Consultant for Innova Consulting, and today we're going to be talking about fixed assets, the basic functionality and setups, and then the workflow. So I'm going to go through my first slide here. We're going to be doing some basic setups, like entering a fixed asset, acquiring that asset, doing depreciation. I'll go through some of the setups that need to be done. Some of them are already defaulted by when you go through your fixed asset setup. And then after that, we'll go through the whole process of acquiring a fixed asset. There are two ways of you doing that. We'll walk this through the automatic one. The manual one, you'll get to see when we do the automatic, because it gives you the option to see the actual journal. So I'll show you that, but I'm going to be focusing on the automatic way of doing it. Then we'll do a disposing of the fixed asset, depreciation, and then I'll show you a few reports that are useful in BC. So let me go back to this one here, and we'll follow the steps here. And let me open up my Business Central. This one here. Okay. So the first thing we're gonna do here is, and I saved some of these as a favor, so I don't have to be searching for them. But if you use the search functionality, if you search for fixed asset setup, you're gonna get this screen here. A lot of the stuff here is defaulted. You just get to pick your depreciation book. We'll get to that soon. But here where you get to pick when is it that you want to be allowing the fixed asset posting from and to, the number series, and if you're doing insurance, what's the number series for that. So within the fixed asset setup, and I'm gonna close this so it doesn't edit. There are some setups here that, like I said, they come out of the box, but you can add to it, or you can edit, or you can change the way you want it. So the first thing that I want to show you is the depreciation book. In BC, you can have one or multiple different books when it comes to depreciation. Today, we're going to just do one book, but there are some clients where they have two books or three books. There's no limit on the amount of depreciation books you can have, but only one of them will be linked or integrated to your GL accounts. So as an example, you could have your company book for your accounting and finance, but then you can have like a tax book, which is not integrated to your GL, but you still can report on that and send that to your accountants. So I'm gonna open this up just to show you what's in here. Again, once you set this up for the first time, you just gotta give it a code and name, and then all this stuff is gonna be defaulted to, you know, like what people use the most. What I want to focus today here, it's that you'll see here on the integration that everything is turned on, even though we're not going to be talking about like the write down or custom 1-2 disposal. We're going to be focusing on the acquisition, the depreciation, and disposal, which is integrated to your GL account. Next, if you go to the within the same fixed asset setup window, if you go to your fixed asset class, again, these are the ones that are defaulted in the system, and they are financial fixed asset, intangible and tangible fixed assets. You can add to that, remove whatever you need to. The next one will be the fixed asset subclasses, which if you see here, you have within your tangible, then you have some subclasses here, which is equipment and furniture. You can have some goodwill and intellectual property. You can have, leaseholds, patents, plants, property, vehicles. So I set this up. Some of these come out of the box. You can add to it depending on your needs, but that's what I set up for our demo today. Again, in the same tab, the general tab, you go to fixed assets, locations, and these are the ones that I set up for our demo today. So you can add to it, remove them, or edit them and change the name. The next one, which is the very important setting that we have in fixed asset, which is true throughout Business Central, is your fixed asset posting group. So here we're basically based on a code, you're going to be telling when you integrate to your GL what's going to happen or what GL is going to be selected for posting, like your acquisition cost, depreciation. So for the most part, I left everything to this account, which is the equipment account, just to make it simple. And since on the demo we have a simple chart of accounts, depreciation expense, I put it to expense line, and then depreciation account is going to go to the depreciation line on your balance sheet on the accumulated depreciation. But this is what's going to determine, and you'll see when we create a fixed asset card, where you get to pick what GL account is going to be selected for that specific asset when you post. And then we'll talk about dimensions when we get to the actual fixed asset card. I just wanted to show you, just wanted to mention it, that you can capture dimensions. Let's say if you have a, I don't know, like a dimension for colors, like for your vehicles, for example, then if you select the dimension for a specific fixed asset, when you run depreciation or disposal and the report that you run, that dimension is going to be flowing through all the reports. So just following the items that I have here on my presentation today, let's go now and start talking about like the actual process in for acquiring a fixed asset and then doing a disposal. We'll do depreciation, and then I'll show you some reports. So if you go to your fixed assets, and I already have set up some there, you'll see, I mean, you have the option, I have this view here, but you can have the different layout. So you can have the list. I like this this view here with the tiles. So I set this up. Some of them are to be completed. Some of them are there just for when we do the disposal and depreciation. So let's start with the, I believe the truck hasn't been acquired. So, okay, so let's say on the fixed asset, and again, let me go back here, and then you click on your fixed asset. So it's going to give you a list of all your fixed asset. If you don't have anything, you click new, and the fixed asset card will show, and then we'll put a description here. You get to select your fixed asset class here. So it's going to be a tangible. Here where you get to select your subclass. So I'm going to say vehicle. the location if you need to. And all these, whatever you select here is gonna help on your reporting. So let's say I'm gonna put this on the warehouse one as an example. And then so there are some other options here that you can select. For now, I'm just gonna leave it here like that on the on the general fast tab, and then we'll move to the depreciation book fast tab. Since we only have one depreciation book right now, that was defaulting to posting group. It's vehicle. Usually, I try to keep the posting group the same as the subclass to make it easier, and this will determine which GL account is going to be posting to. Depreciation method. Here, I select the straight line. You have many options in BC. You can do the declining method or double declining. You can use a user defined. You can create your own manual depreciation method. For now, we're gonna just use straight line. And for the depreciation starting date, I'm gonna go back and say June 1st. And let's assume this vehicle has a 7-year for the number of depreciation. And you'll see once I tap off from this area here, it's gonna be calculating your ending date automatically. And also you're gonna be getting this option here, right? So, and this is what we meant by doing the acquisition automatically using the wizard, and we'll walk through that. And then when you finish putting all the information that you need, it's gonna give you an option to, you wanna show the journal entry for this acquisition. I'll say yes, and then you'll see the details behind that journal entry, and that will be the manual way of doing it. So let's go ahead and say acquire, and you'll go through like a few screens here where you have to select. So I'm gonna be saying, I'm gonna post this to my vendor. I'm gonna select this vendor. The document number is gonna be, I don't know, I can make something up. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tap through that, and then next. Let's say the cost, including tax, was I don't know, 38,000. And then you tap through it. And here where you indicate, yeah, I want to see the journal before you post. So if you say finish, this will pop up, and then basically here you'll see the entry that if you'd have gone the manual way, then that's what you need to do. You need to go to your fixed asset GL journal and then make this entry. BC now makes it easier, so you can just do it that way, and then it will bring you the correct entries to capture your acquisition. So if you go to posting, I like to see this preview posting to make sure everything is fine and balanced. And you'll see here that you have the GL entries. You're creating your AP for the payment to the vendor, and you're going to be debiting your inventory GL account. Then here you have the entry to your vendor ledger for the payable. And then fixed asset, you'll see here that you're, entering that acquisition cost to your fixed asset layer. So from here, I'm gonna go ahead and just post. So you can post this. And then you'll notice that if we go back to the fixed asset card, it says that it was acquired. And that's the starting date. Based on that, 7 years is gonna be your ending date. So it's already acquired. So let's go ahead and create one more. And I just want to do this so because I'm going to be posting this one here, and we'll go through it real quick. Fixed asset class, we'll make it tangible again. This one's going to go to a different subclass, which is we'll put it to equipment. Location, let's say that this one is on the building 1. And then let's pretend we acquire this on the same date as the other one. Make it first. And let's do for computers 5 years. So we'll go through this one more time. Acquire, yes. I don't have any other vendor set up, so I'm gonna just pick the same vendor, which probably doesn't make sense because card.com, but let's say we bought a computer from them. We'll do test 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going through this real quick because we just did it for the truck. So, but I just want to have another asset set up. Let's say we pay for the laptop $1,500, and the acquisition day was June 1st. Next, show again the journal, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and review my posting. Everything looks fine. Again, the 2 GL entries, your fixed asset, the vendor payment. So I'm just gonna go ahead and post this. One thing that I want to check real quick here is on my truck to make sure. If I, yeah, the acquisition date. I didn't change that to 6/1. So when I run my depreciation, it's not gonna do anything there. So maybe I'll dispose the truck then, and then we'll do depreciation on the laptop, which is fine. So let's go and do a disposal of one of the fixed assets. So so to do that, you can just create a fixed asset journal, and then let's dispose of it today. We'll put that document number. This will be fixed asset, and then I'm gonna get rid of this one here, which is the disposal. The amount, let's say, I mean, we got, I don't know, let's say 10,000 for it, disposal. And we'll pick here the bank, and we're gonna be debiting our bank for that amount. Again, you go posting, preview posting. Oh, I'm sorry, I was supposed to put here the disposal. It's very important here. So you need to put a disposal, so it actually reads that it's a credit. So let's see again, preview posting. Okay, so that's again the give you your GL entries, and we can review that. So you'll see here, it's removing that from your fixed asset. Since it's posting to the same GL account, it's going to be putting the difference because I'm just getting 10,000 for it on disposal. And then if you go back here, you see that you have one bank entry, which is adding the 10,000 for the what you're getting for the truck, add it to your bank. And I'm gonna go ahead and post this. Okay, now let's take, let's go now to an actual depreciation. Let's do this here. So from the fixed asset window, if you go to process and calculate depreciation, you're gonna have this window here. where you have a few options. I'll make this bigger. It's going to be using, if you were to have different books, then that's where you select it for your tax purpose. In this case, I'm going to leave it to the company, which is integrated to your GL again. That's going to be your posting date. And then that's the document number that's going to be used in the description. I can say, yeah, let's do it. Just leave it like that, depreciation test. And then here you have some options here to depreciate a specific, what's it called, fixed asset. So in this case, I'm going to select, if you leave it blank, it's going to do it for everything else. But if you select it here, it's going to do it specifically for that fixed asset. So if I say OK, if you leave it blank, basically go through all your fixed assets, and it will pick anything that needs to be depreciated based on the acquisition date and the years and the method, and it will go through it and it will calculate your depreciation. Here, since we only pick one, just to make it simple, it says calculate it, and then what it does, it actually creates a journal entry, which you can review and then post, or if something's wrong or need to change anything, you can do it in the journal, or you can delete it, fix whatever you need to fix, and rerun your depreciation. So I'm gonna say, yes, I wanna open it to review it. And you'll see here that it's, if you use a straight line for the amount of years that it's depreciating, and we got it in June 1st, I think that's the acquisition date that I put, and we're running depreciation today, that's the amount that it calculated. If we go to posting, and I like always doing this, preview posting, just to give you the entries, the details, so you'll see that you're going to be, based on your posting group, which we saw at the beginning, you indicate where it is that you want that to be posted. So you'll see your debit to your expense account on the 61,600. And then it's going to be coming out of your accumulated depreciation is going to be adding that there, which I have a $8 balance from a test that I was doing the other day, but right now it's going to be adding 52 more, so it's going to be 60 total. We'll see that, but for now, let's just go ahead and post this. So post. Okay. So by doing that, now we have created a fixed asset card. We acquired the fixed asset card using the automatic method. Again, I show you when you run through the wizard, you have the option to see the journal, which would be the manual way that you would have done if you were going to do it manually. So we did acquisition, we disposed the truck, and then we ran the depreciation for the laptop. And if you open up the fixed asset card, it will keep the book value here. And then if you click here, it will give you the details of what happened. It's going to give you the acquisition. It's going to give you the depreciation. It's going to give you all the details. Now that's fine, but now we're going to go into reporting, which there are a few reports. I'm going to show you maybe like 3 or 4 of them, which I think they're pretty nice out of the box in BC. So let's go to the first one, which is basically a fixed asset list. And again, you have some options. You can filter it by the fixed asset you want, if you want to do it by class. I'm going to leave it all open, so because we don't have that many data in the system, so at least we get to see, you get to get a taste of the report. But it's pretty nice. You get the details of each of the fixed assets. It will give you the class code, the subclass, the location of the fixed asset, what method is using for depreciation, when it was acquired, when it's depreciated. The same thing for each one of the assets that you have in the system. So that's one of the reports I wanted to show you. The second report, it's the acquisition list, which is basically that. It will tell you, it's going to require like a start date and end date. I'll do 1/1 to 2, and then I'll do today's date just to capture or the ones that we captured today, you have the option to include things that you've entered in your fixed asset card, but it hasn't been acquired yet. So if you wanted that, who has that, then you turn this on, and it will show you the fixed asset. But for now, I'm just going to leave it off because everything has been acquired, and you'll see the details here. And it will give you the details of the acquisition date and the fixed asset and the description. Then let's make this smaller again. Then the other report is the details, which is a little bit, like I said, more details here. You don't have to put any what's it called parameters on your filter, but it's basically going to go through everything by fixed asset. It's going to tell you, like, the acquisition is something that I did the other day, and if it has any depreciation, it will show it to you here. Here you'll see the disposal of the truck. So it gives you the details, everything that is happening on your fixed asset layer. And then the last report, which is, I think, it's the one that I use the most. If you go to your fixed asset book value and you say, I want to show everything for this year, as an example. Let's make this today's date. And then if you don't select anything here, it's going to just give you one line with the total value, book value, and everything mixed together. If you want to see it, I like to see it by subclass, which will give you some more details. And you'll see what I mean by that. It will break it down by fixed asset, which I think is nice. You have the equipment, or you could do it by the class, the subclass, by location. So depending on what you select on that filter, it will bring this report, which is very nice. It gives you the acquisition. It will give you depreciation on that asset, and then it's going to give you the total book value for each one, and then the total book value of your fixed assets. With that, I've completed what I wanted to show you. Let's go back to my presentation here. And we'll go to a session where, if you have any question, please let us know. I guess I'm sending this back to you, Joe, now that I'm completed what I wanted to present.
Well, thank you, Guillermo. It looks like no questions have come in yet.
Okay.
They have a little bit more time. So in the meantime, I want to thank Guillermo for presenting today and everyone at today's webinar. Or if you're watching on demand, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us. And just as a reminder, we have new training workshops for you and your team members to attend. Visit our training workshops page at novia.com/workshops for more information and register for the training workshops that best fit your role. We also have more webinars coming up. Tomorrow, August 3rd, we have another Inovia Senior Application Consultant, Jenny Hollingsworth, presenting on a webinar on the new pricing experience for Business Central. So you don't want to miss that one. And that's at novia.com/events. Don't forget to check out our Novia Conversation podcast with hosts Steve Waltz and Jeff Bergolsky. You can find out all about the different platforms to listen to them on our podcast page, and that's at novia.com/podcasts. While you're there, you can check out our podcast library and be sure to subscribe to receive notification when new episodes air. Also, we have some conferences coming up, including DynamicsCon Live this September in San Antonio, Texas. For information about DynamicsCon Live and list of our upcoming conferences, head over to inovia.com/conferences. And it looks like we don't have any questions that have come in the meantime. So I'm going to go ahead and thank you for joining us, Guillermo. And thank you for everybody on the webinar. We thank you. and we look forward to seeing you on another Anovia webinar.
Thank you, Joe. Take care.
Thank you. You too. Bye.